Frank Fritz, the beloved co-host of American Pickers, captivated audiences with his passion for antiques and unique finds. But behind the scenes, his life was a tapestry of triumphs and tribulations. From health struggles to legal battles over his estate, Frank's story is as compelling as the treasures he uncovered. In this video, we delve into the life and legacy of Frank Fritz, exploring the fortune he left behind and the family disputes that ensued. Stay tuned as we unravel the complexities surrounding his estate and the impact on those he left behind. Frank Fritz was born on October 11, 1963, in Davenport, Iowa. From a young age, he had a passion for collecting unique and unusual items. His fascination started with things like beer cans, stamps, and vintage toys, an obsession that would eventually grow into something much bigger. While most kids outgrew their collecting phase, Frank leaned in deeper. His keen eye for value and history made him stand out among other hobbyists. Before becoming a television personality, Frank worked as a fire inspector. But even in that career, he couldn't resist the thrill of discovering antiques on the weekends. He would often spend his free time picking through garage sales, flea markets, and backroad barns, looking for that next hidden gem. This weekend hobby eventually became a full-time passion. Frank teamed up with longtime friend Mike Wolfe, and together, they created something that would change their lives forever: American Pickers. When the show debuted in 2010 on the History Channel, it quickly became a massive hit. Audiences loved watching the duo scour forgotten places in search of valuable artifacts. Frank's easygoing nature and ability to connect with people made him a fan favorite. His specialty? Vintage motorcycles, toys, and hard-to-find Americana. These weren't just items to Frank. They were stories waiting to be rediscovered. His role on American Pickers wasn't just about making deals. It was about preserving history. Frank's rise from small-town collector to household name is proof that passion, when pursued wholeheartedly, can become something extraordinary. As American Pickers gained popularity, Frank Fritz's life transformed. He went from sifting through barns in rural towns to being recognized across the country. With his growing fan base came fame, money, and the kind of opportunities most collectors could only dream of. But as the spotlight intensified, so did the pressures. The bond between Frank and co-host Mike Wolfe was a cornerstone of the show. They weren't just partners, they were old friends with a deep history. Yet, as time went on, cracks began to show. Fans noticed Frank appeared less frequently on the show, prompting speculation. The chemistry that once felt effortless began to fade. Behind the scenes, health issues were taking a toll on Frank. He battled Crohn's disease for years, a condition that drained his energy and forced him to take breaks. Combined with personal struggles, including weight loss and medical treatments, Frank's role in the show became less consistent. Viewers grew concerned when he disappeared from several episodes without explanation. Then came the announcement that stunned fans. Frank would not be returning to the show. Many were left confused, especially when reports hinted at a falling out with Mike. What had happened between the iconic duo? While details remained murky, one thing was clear. Fame had brought with it not just fortune, but friction. The once tight bond between Frank and Mike had shifted, and American Pickers was no longer the same without him. What began as a partnership rooted in passion had unraveled in the face of fame and personal adversity. After leaving American Pickers, Frank Fritz faced some of the darkest days of his life. While many believed he would quietly retire and enjoy his fortune, the reality was far from peaceful. Frank's health continued to decline. Already battling Crohn's disease, he also began to struggle with mobility issues, which made everyday tasks a challenge. His physical state worsened to the point that he needed assistance with basic activities. But it wasn't just his body that was suffering. His emotional and mental well-being took a hit as well. Away from the show and the fans who once cheered him on, Frank found himself in a much quieter and lonelier world. The fame and camaraderie that once fueled his energy had vanished. The absence of a routine, especially one that involved doing what he loved, picking, left a noticeable void in his life. Things reached a critical point when Frank suffered a debilitating stroke in 2022. The incident shocked fans and left his loved ones scrambling to figure out the next steps for his care. Recovery was slow and uncertain, and Frank's future suddenly looked very different from the life he had built through years of hard work and passion. Despite these setbacks, Frank's story remained one of resilience. While his body struggled, his name still resonated with fans who remembered his warmth, wit, and love for Americana. Even during his lowest moments, Frank remained a figure of public interest, a testament to the lasting impact he had made on reality television and vintage culture. Despite stepping away from the spotlight, Frank Fritz amassed a considerable fortune through his TV career, antiques dealings, and dedicated fan base. However, after his health began to decline following a stroke, attention shifted to the fate of his assets. With Frank unable to manage his own affairs, questions arose about who would oversee his estate. His fortune included real estate, valuable collectibles, and a lifetime of treasures. Without a spouse or children, the division of Frank's estate became a contentious issue, stirring tensions among friends and distant family. Legal battles ensued, with accusations of opportunism clouding the process. What began as a story of success and discovery quickly turned into one of emotional and financial uncertainty. Frank's story, once a symbol of passion, now highlighted the complexities of managing wealth, especially in the absence of clear planning and amid personal turmoil. Frank Fritz was known for his down-to-earth nature, but his personal life was often complicated. While his friendship with co-host Mike Wolfe was central to American Pickers, their relationship began to deteriorate over time. As Frank's health issues worsened, especially with his Crohn's disease and a stroke, he appeared less frequently on the show, fueling rumors of a falling out. Outside of work, Frank valued family and close friends, but his health struggles led to emotional isolation. Without a spouse or children, Frank leaned heavily on his friendships, but his increasing need for care strained many of these relationships. The fame that once brought him joy was now tinged with loneliness and dependence on others. Frank's personal life, marked by both love and difficulty, proved that even the most public figures have battles behind closed doors. Frank Fritz's health struggles were a significant part of his life, especially after he was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. This chronic condition drained his energy and made it difficult for him to maintain the active lifestyle that had defined much of his career. As time went on, Frank's health worsened, and in 2022, he suffered a stroke that further complicated his situation. The stroke left Frank unable to manage his daily life, and he became increasingly reliant on others for care. His mobility issues also kept him away from picking, the activity he loved most. Fans and friends alike watched in sorrow as the vibrant, energetic star of American Pickers faced one of his toughest battles. Despite his resilience, Frank's health struggles took a toll on his spirit. The joy he once found in collecting and sharing stories faded as he contended with his worsening condition. Frank's departure from American Pickers left fans heartbroken and filled with questions. His absence was noticeable, and the speculation about his falling out with Mike Wolfe only intensified. While the exact reasons behind his exit were never fully disclosed, rumors of personal and professional tensions between the two surfaced. Fans who had once admired their friendship now found themselves wondering what went wrong. Despite the mystery surrounding his exit, Frank's relationship with Mike was undoubtedly complicated by his health and absence from the show. Mike continued without him, but the dynamic of American Pickers changed, and fans couldn't help but notice the void left by Frank. The behind-the-scenes drama raised more questions than answers, and it wasn't just the fans who felt the impact. Frank's personal life and legacy would never be the same. Frank Fritz's legacy in the picking world is undeniable. His passion for uncovering hidden treasures and sharing their stories inspired countless collectors. Known for his expertise in vintage motorcycles, toys, and Americana, Frank set high standards in the industry. Even after leaving American Pickers, his influence on the world of antiques and picking remains. His authenticity and knowledge will continue to be remembered. Frank Fritz's departure from American Pickers marked a turning point for the show. His absence left a void, with fans speculating about a fallout with Mike Wolfe. Despite his health struggles, Frank's legacy in the antiques world remains undeniable. His passion for picking continues to inspire. His story serves as a reminder of the importance of balancing fame, health, and personal relationships. Like, subscribe, and click the bell for more.